The Buffalo Bills are walking into Week 6 with something to prove. After a frustrating divisional loss that left fans and players alike scratching their heads, this team is ready to get right before heading into their much-needed bye week. But standing in their way? A well-rested, hungry Atlanta Falcons squad coming off a bye of their own, and they're looking to rise up, literally and figuratively, in front of their home crowd on Monday Night Football. For Buffalo, last week's performance was uncharacteristic, to say the least. This is a team that doesn't often drop division games, especially not in the fashion we saw against New England. 3 turnovers, 11 penalties, and a level of sloppiness that's just not what we've come to expect from this Josh Allen-led unit. The Bills had only turned the ball over 9 times in their previous 24 games dating back to the start of last season. Then, out of nowhere, they cough it up 3 times in one game, twice in the same quarter. Add nearly 100 penalty yards on top of that, and it was a recipe for disaster. Still, the numbers show this team has a history of bouncing back strong. Since the 2020 season, Buffalo is 17-5 following a loss, winning those games by an average of over 10 points. That's the kind of response they're aiming for on Monday. But don't expect Atlanta to just lay down. The Falcons are coming off a bye and enter this week with a real opportunity, maybe even a statement game. Their offense had one of its best outings of the season in Week 4 against Washington, while their defense flashed real potential in that primetime win over Minnesota. This upcoming stretch of games is a gauntlet for Atlanta. After Buffalo, they face San Francisco and Indianapolis, both of whom are top contenders in the league. So, for the Falcons, this Bills game is a litmus test. It's their chance to show that they're not just a fringe playoff team. They want to prove they can go toe-to-toe with the NFL's elite. And speaking of elite, the uniform matchup for this game is straight fire. Falcons rolling with the iconic red helmets and black jerseys, maybe their cleanest look, while the Bills bring back the all-white standing Buffalo throwbacks. On the field and on the fashion front, this game is shaping up to be a certified banger. Now, when you start talking matchups, one name rises to the top, Bijan Robinson. The Falcons' second-year back is electric, big, agile, slippery, and lethal in open space. He's already racked up over 300 yards on the ground and almost as much receiving. And the crazy part? A huge chunk of his receiving production comes off just 2 plays. That's the kind of game-breaking ability he brings. If the Bills don't come in with a plan to stop him, he can single-handedly swing this game. Buffalo's run defense hasn't been great, and it's not just a 2025 problem. Over the years, they've struggled against backs with that special gear. Guys like Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and Jonathan Taylor have all torched this defense in the past. The Bills can't afford to let Bijan join that list. With Matt Milano likely out, all eyes turn to Shaq Thompson and Terrell Bernard to step up at the second level. Thompson's been playing solid football, but this is a whole different challenge. Expect Buffalo to bring extra bodies in a box, maybe show some single-high looks, and dare the Falcons to beat them vertically. That's where things get really interesting, because so far, Atlanta's vertical passing game hasn't exactly lit it up. Michael Penix Jr., in his first full year as starter, has shown flashes, but when it comes to pushing the ball downfield, the numbers aren't great. On throws of 10 yards or more, he's near the bottom of the league in every major category. Completion percentage, passer rating, accuracy, you name it. Now, this could be the game where it all clicks, especially if Darnell Mooney is healthy and ready to roll. Mooney's the kind of speed threat who could take advantage of a Bills secondary that, let's be honest, has looked a little shaky. Trey Davius, White isn't the lockdown guy he once was, and while Christian Benford has been solid, he's had his lapses too. But there's a twist here. Buffalo's defense under Sean McDermott is designed to prevent exactly those explosive plays. They play a lot of split safety coverage, keep everything in front of them, and force teams to execute long, methodical drives. It's a bend-don't-break philosophy, and it's worked for them more often than not. So, if Atlanta wants to hit those home runs, they're going to have to earn it. On the flip side, the Bills' offense presents its own set of headaches for Atlanta's defense. The Falcons want to play man coverage. It's their identity, even if they don't quite have the personnel to fully execute it at a high level. A.J. Terrell If healthy, will be a huge piece. But beyond him, it gets dicey. Mike Hughes hasn't exactly been reliable, and if they try to stick in man coverage against Josh Allen and this versatile Bills offense, it could get ugly fast. The problem is Buffalo doesn't rely on just one receiver anymore. Gone are the days of feeding Stephon Diggs 20 times a game. Now it's more of a spread the love attack. One week it's Khalil Shakir. The next it's Dalton Kincaid. Then it's Keon Coleman. Everyone eats. That makes it much harder for a defense to game plan, especially one like Atlanta's, which has a lot of young, untested players in key roles. So while locking down one guy with Terrell sounds good in theory, in practice, it might not matter if Allen is just going to throw to whoever is open, and he usually finds someone. That said, the middle of the field could be the real battleground. Jesse Bates and Xavier Watts are both ball hawks, and they'll be lurking. If the Falcons want to force turnovers, that's where it'll happen. But Buffalo's smart. They know where the danger zones are and have done a good job staying efficient in the short and intermediate game. They don't need to force deep shots. They're perfectly fine dinking and dunking their way down the field. And then Josh Allen can just go off script and create something out of nothing when a play breaks down. Then there's the run game. James Cook has been cooking this year, pun intended. Buffalo's run scheme is unique. Lots of motion, multiple tight end sets, and the occasional fullback. They don't just run for the sake of balance. They run to control the game. And against the Falcons' defense that's been solid in base, but porous in nickel, that's going to be a major point of attack, especially when you factor in Atlanta's tackling issues. Guys like Mike Hughes, Billy Bowman, and even A.J. Terrell have struggled with missed tackles. Cook is the kind of back who can exploit that with his vision and ability to bounce runs outside, forcing corners and safeties into one-on-one situations in space. If Buffalo can establish the run, it's going to open everything up. And with Allen's legs always a threat, the Falcons can't afford to overcommit in one direction. It's a lot to handle. Add in the fact that Buffalo is desperate to avoid going into the bye with back-to-back losses, and you got a team that's going to come out with energy and urgency. But urgency goes both ways. For Atlanta, this isn't just another game. It's a chance to prove they belong in the conversation. The NFC South is wide open, and a win here would go a long way in solidifying their place as a real contender. The question is, can Michael Penix Jr. rise to the moment? Can Bijan Robinson break loose against a defense that knows he's the focal point? Can the Falcons' defense hold up when Josh Allen inevitably goes full Josh Allen? While the first part of this clash sets the stage with high-level storylines, the second act unfolds where the real decisions are made on the matchups that define wins and losses in this league. Let's start with the one everyone will be watching. Bijan Robinson versus the Buffalo Bills front seven. This isn't just a battle of athleticism, it's a battle of identity. Robinson has been the centerpiece of Atlanta's offense from day one, and now, fresh off a bye and facing a defense known for giving up big games to elite backs, the pressure and opportunity are both sky high. There's no hiding from it if you're the Bills. You know what's coming. You know Bijan's going to be used creatively, not just handed the ball inside the tackles. He'll be in motion, lined up wide, catching passes in space, forcing defenders into bad angles and missed tackles. And Buffalo, still reeling from injuries at linebacker and trying to adjust on the fly without Matt Milano, has to figure out how to contain him. Shaq Thompson has stepped up, no doubt, but this is going to take more than solid play. It's going to take a game plan built around limiting number 7 from breaking open the game. The Falcons have started to do more with Bijan through the air, lining him up as a wide receiver, using option routes, swing passes, even double moves down the sideline. And the scary thing is, most of those plays are just one broken tackle away from 6 points. The Bills' linebackers and safeties will need to be perfect in their angles and assignment football. One hesitation, one false step, and Bijan's gone. That's the danger of a guy who's not just fast, but smooth, with elite balance and body control. He doesn't just get yards. He makes defenders question their technique. But if you're the Bills, the goal isn't to erase Bijan, because that's probably not happening. It's to minimize the damage. Don't let the 50-yard highlight happen. Keep him in front of you. Make him earn every yard. and force Michael Penix Jr. to be the one who beats you. That brings us to Penix, the young quarterback stepping into the biggest spotlight of his pro career so far. There's no hiding under the radar when you're under the Monday night lights against a playoff team like Buffalo. The Bills' defense, for all its flaws, can still pressure quarterbacks. They rank top 5 in the NFL in sack rate. And that's a problem for Penix, because while he's a talented passer, he's struggled when facing consistent pressure. The question is whether Atlanta's offensive line, solid on paper, but not without its cracks, can hold up long enough for Penix to get comfortable. Greg Rousseau and Joey Bosa, yes, the Bills went all in acquiring him midseason, are going to test that right side. And because Penix is a left-handed quarterback, that's his blind side. One mistake from Elijah Wilkinson at right tackle, and you're risking a game-changing hit or turnover. And while Atlanta has been good in pass protection overall, this is the first true test against a pass rush that combines power, speed, and scheme pressure. Buffalo doesn't just rely on 4 guys to get home. They mix it up, bring heat from different levels, and force young quarterbacks to make decisions under fire. This is where the Falcons have to evolve. They can't just run it 30 times and hope for the best. Penix has to show he can hit throws on time and, most importantly, down the field. Because that's been the weak spot in his game, the vertical attack. He's near the bottom of the league in completion percentage and accuracy on passes beyond 10 yards. Those are the throws Buffalo will force him to make by crowding the line and daring him to beat them deep. So far, that hasn't happened. But if Mooney is healthy, and that's still a big if, he's the type of player who could change that narrative. His speed, his ability to separate against man coverage, that's exactly the matchup Atlanta needs to exploit. The problem is Buffalo's defense doesn't give up many of those looks. Their scheme is built to take away the deep ball. So if Penix wants to unlock Mooney or even stretch the field with Kyle Pitts or Drake London, it's going to require anticipation, accuracy, and touch, all things he's still working on at the pro level. The Bills will sit back in their shell, rotate late, and wait for mistakes. The burden is on Penix to be sharp and consistent in a way we haven't fully seen yet. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. The NFL rumor mill is swirling again, and this time it seems Buffalo is at the center of the storm. Insiders suggest that the Bills have officially confirmed the acquisition of none other than T.J. Watt, the star pass rusher who has terrorized quarterbacks across the league. While official channels have remained tight-lipped, sources close to the team hint that the move could reshape the AFC East power balance in ways we've never seen before. Speculation began earlier this week when Watt's name started popping up in trade chatter, with whispers of a blockbuster deal involving multiple draft picks and future considerations. The idea of Watt in a Bills uniform has NFL fans buzzing, imagining the defensive nightmares he could create alongside Von Miller and the rest of Buffalo's already formidable front. Some insiders even claim that Watt's arrival could be the missing piece the Bills need to finally break through in the postseason. Questions remain, of course. How will Watt adapt to a new system? Will the salary cap implications force Buffalo to make other roster moves? And perhaps the most tantalizing question of all, how will opponents adjust to facing a defensive line that now features one of the league's most feared pass rushers? The chatter suggests that Watt is motivated by more than just a paycheck. He's looking for a team on the rise, a squad with legitimate Super Bowl aspirations, and Buffalo's consistent competitiveness makes it a natural fit. League insiders point out that the timing of the announcement is strategic. By confirming Watt's arrival now, the Bills are sending a clear signal to rivals. The team is not just playing to compete, they're playing to dominate. Fans on social media have already begun speculating about potential sacks, game-changing plays, and the electrifying energy Watt could bring to Highmark Stadium. Whether this is the start of a new era in Buffalo or just another moment of off-season hype, one thing is clear. TJ Watt in a Bills jersey is the kind of rumor that will keep the NFL talking for weeks. For now, we'll have to watch as the story unfolds, but the buzz is unmistakable. Could this be the off-season move that finally shifts the balance of power in the AFC? If the early whispers are any indication, Buffalo might be preparing for a defensive revolution. And TJ, what is at the center of it? That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.